What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Save Point Podcast, Entertainment Edition, the show where we get with you at least once a week to talk about all of the news going through the entertainment and movie streaming industry. If you like the sound of that, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you are new to the channel. I've got Sean and Chase as always, and I am Josh. Today's episode, we've got some Marvel news. We've got some Star Wars news. The Avatar sequels are going to be super expensive to make and produce. And then if you're, again, new to the channel, after that, we'll kind of transition into what we've been watching and consuming. So without further ado, guys, let's jump in. I think we're going to start... Let's start with the Star Wars news and the Disney news, just because we can kind of group all of that together here. This first story comes from The Hollywood Reporter. Here. Taika Waititi is set to direct a new Star Wars film. And again, this comes from Aaron Couch over at The Hollywood Reporter. 1917 writer Christy Wilson Cairns will pen the script with Waititi. I don't want to... Trying to make me subscribe to The Hollywood Reporter.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, I know. All right, here we go. Taika Waititi is officially headed to a galaxy far, far away. The filmmaker behind Thor Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit will direct and co-write a new Star Wars movie for theatrical release. Oscar-nominated 1917 writer Christy Wilson Cairns will pen the script with Waititi. In January, The Hollywood Reporter broke the news that Lucasfilm was trying to port Waititi. No release date has been set for the project, which was announced on StarWars.com to coincide with May the 4th, the unofficial holiday celebrating all things Star Wars. Waititi, who won a screenwriting Oscar, blah, blah, blah. We don't need that. Let's see here. I think that's about it from there. My guess, I was looking at the kind of the release schedule though, my guess is that it'll probably come out because there's a theatrical Star Wars release schedule for 2022. This is all December. 2022, 2024, and 2026. If things hold out the way that they're supposed to, Thor, what is it? Thor Love and Thunder is set for 2022 at this point, so that would probably put him at 2024. Again, other than the fact that he is attached to direct it, we don't know if it's a brand new trilogy. Obviously, I think they said that, the Skywalker saga is done, so I don't know if it's a new set of characters, a standalone film, kind of like Rogue One was, or Solo. But we all like Thor Ragnarok, and everybody seems to really like Taika Waititi. What do you guys think about this? You guys excited about a potential...
I think they definitely need, I hope what he's bringing is just like a new, fresh take on Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because I would say I didn't really like the last three movies. Overall, I really liked The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the last one, which me and Chase just watched a few days ago, was a Rise of Skywalker. Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. It was all right.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it
better than The Last Jedi. It definitely seemed like J.J. Abrams was trying to clean up all this shit left over from The Last Jedi.
Yeah, there was a lot of fan service. There was a lot of direct fuck yous to
Rian Johnson's movie.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting if Waititi can do and kind of bring that signature comedic
He's a funny
element.
dude.
Yeah, if he can bring that, comedic element to a Star Wars film, I think that would be really cool. That seems to, based off the characters that we know, it seems like that would do really well with like a Solo type character who's kind of like a, kind of like a smart ass, kind of, you know what I mean? Kind of like that type of humor anyway. But obviously that has yet to be announced. And it didn't say, but he directed, I still haven't seen it. I want to go back and finish the first season of The Mandalorian, but he directed the finale.
Okay.
And
I haven't watched it either.
And I think that was one of the better received episodes of that season. So he seems to be on a hot streak. And yeah, if he can do...
Yeah, it's a pretty hot commodity.
Yeah, if he can do, again, what, to Star Wars, what he did for Thor, I think he'll be, it'll be obviously received pretty well. But moving on, in additional Star Wars news, The Mandalorian Season 2 cast Tamora Morrison as Boba Fett. So let me pull that up here. So this comes from IGN.com. I didn't have a chance to write these stories out myself, so this is from David Griffin at IGN.com. Morrison will join Season 2's... Oops, sorry. Start at the beginning. Star Wars Universe alum Tamora Morrison, who is also an Aquaman and Moana, will reportedly portray iconic bounty hunter Boba Fett in The Mandalorian Season 2 on Disney+. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Morrison's Boba Fett is, quote, expected to play just a small role in Season 2 of the series, end quote. The New Zealand-born actor joined Star Wars back in 2002's Attack of the Clones, where he portrayed Jango Fett. In Attack of the Clones, it was revealed that Boba is actually one of Jango's clones, who the bounty hunter decided to raise as his own son. That is pretty much it. But yeah, we were saying right before we started recording, why this is interesting is because for obviously the Star Wars nerds out there, Boba Fett was actually killed in the, what was it called? The Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. I don't know if you guys remember, but he was out on he was on not Boba Fett's. He was out on Jesus Christ, why am I blanking on his name?
I can't help you. I don't know. I haven't watched the original Star Wars movies in a while.
Why am I blanking on the name? Holy crap. The big slug.
Jabba
the Hutt. Jesus Christ. They were out on Jabba's big pimp yacht. You guys don't remember this?
I remember. Yeah, and I remember it
now. Han Solo just got defrosted from the carbonite, and he was like recovering from like the blindness. And Boba Fett died in like the most. It was just like the dumbest way, where he got like Han Solo bumped into him and set off his jetpack, and he like flew into the side of the ship and then fell into the Sarlacc pit.
Honestly, I don't remember that.
Anyway, point is that he was he's presumed dead, obviously. So it'll be interesting to kind of see where this fits in the timeline and how they plan on bringing him back. But I've been on.
He's coming back. He's coming back as Boba Fett. That's what you said.
He's coming back.
Or Jango.
Yeah, no, he's coming back as Boba Fett. So Jango Fett was was like
in the animated series they brought back Darth Maul.
Yeah, I still haven't seen any of that, but yeah, I've heard that.
I haven't watched any. I just know they did.
Yeah,
I think they gave him like a droid like legs or droid lower half since it was cut in half.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, it'll be interesting, and obviously, it's Star Wars, so anything is possible in how they decide to do this. But yeah, so Jango was like the original, and then in Attack of the Clones, they basically made clones, obviously, of him, and he took basically one of the cloned kids and decided to raise him as his own, and that was Boba Fett.
That'd be fucking weird.
Yeah,
that'd be a weird household.
So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. But I don't think that there is a release date quite yet. Oh, there is. Sorry. Season 2 of The Mandalorian is October of this year. I don't know if the coronavirus has pushed that around, but that's according to IGN's story. So look for that later. this fall. And then kind of transitioning a little bit from Star Wars to Marvel, Rob Liefeld, the creator of Deadpool, has stated that Deadpool 3 is unlikely to happen while at Disney. So this is from IGN. This is from Jim Vavoda. Marvel Studios has, quote, zero plans to make Deadpool 3, according to Deadpool creator Rob Liefeld. In an interview with Inverse, Liefeld was asked what the chances are for a Deadpool X-Force movie now that the characters are under the Disney MCU umbrella, and his response was not encouraging. Quote, I don't know. Here's what people don't want to hear, but thank God I'm a realist. I feel like Deadpool, the movies, they've set sail. We've got 2 brilliant movies, and we live in a culture that always looks forward because all they're ever selling us is next. It's the fever. For me, as the fever calms down, people just need to calm down and realize that Deadpool 1 and 2 were released within 2 years of each other, 2016 and 18, and I'm not really that crazy about Marvel's plans right now. And then it goes on to say that Liefeld finds that MCU's Phase 4, which includes Black Widow, The Eternals, Shang-Chi, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, a less than exciting lineup than what preceded it. And it's a lineup without any X-Men or mutant-related movies in it. He added that even if Marvel Studios were to start work on a Deadpool movie today, quote, it would come out in 4 years. I can't get excited about that. Know what their plan for Deadpool is right now. Goose egg 0-0. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know how. The first thing that jumped out to me is I don't know how involved Liefeld is in the actual plans at Marvel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he has any like say in. I think obviously he's just giving his own speculation.
But you'd have to imagine he probably has a good idea.
I would think so.
What's going down,
right?
Because I don't know about how much, but I'm sure a lot of that information has to filter through him or be brought to him,
right?
About what they're doing with his property.
That's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I
or
don't
does he
know.
Not even own?
Well, because Fox owned Deadpool, the rights to Deadpool, and obviously Disney bought Fox. So I don't know if that means that. I would imagine.
But who owns? Does he still owns it though? Right? I don't know how
he doesn't own it anymore. So I don't think they technically have to run through him. Maybe as a courtesy, they might kind of fill him in on the plans. I don't know, but so yeah, like I was saying, I don't know how much of a say he ultimately has, if at all. But what do you guys think? Would you want to see Ryan? Obviously, would you want to see Ryan Reynolds in the MCU? Maybe team up with X-Force or X-Men or.
Like, theoretically, I would, but if he's going into the MCU, they'd have to water it down. And
that's what I was thinking.
It wouldn't be the same Deadpool.
It's not going to be an R-rated Deadpool.
Yeah, and that's what makes Deadpool Deadpool.
Now, there was a story. The only thing I'll say to that is that there was a story that when Fox was bought by Disney, they said that and this was a big if Deadpool was to continue, that it would be an R-rated movie. I don't know if that was just lip service to appease the fans or if that they had real intention of keeping it that way. It would be interesting because that would be Disney's.
But because all the MCU movies are like PG-13.
Yeah, I think they all are, if not most of them.
Yeah, so I don't see how they'd be able to like work that in there without keeping it in the MCU audience.
Yeah, it's just the character that they established is so far outside of the characters that are in the MCU as far as its tone.
Right.
And, just, I don't know how vulgar it is and hilarious.
Yeah.
That it might not go well with Disney's image of the Marvel characters. And what the creator said, I don't even remember his name, but what he said is maybe it's just the characters that Disney is leading with next, the next wave of stories, just doesn't really gel with, Deadpool, I guess. Right. I don't know.
Yeah, I could see it going either way. You are right. It is interesting, even if they did make a R-rated Deadpool under the Disney banner, which would be Disney's first R-rated movie ever, by the way, if that were to
That's why I
happen.
don't think they have any plans to.
Right.
Yeah.
So it would be. Yeah, you're right, Chase. If they did, then it would be. How do they? Because it's the MCU, right? It's all about crossovers and parallel storylines, and
like just beyond that, it's just like it. Deadpool's brand of humor, it goes against the Disney image itself.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Sometimes
when I turn on
compromising that.
Yeah.
For a single movie.
Right. It is interesting though, because sometimes when I turn on Disney Plus, it is still interesting to see like some Fox properties on there that historically that are a little more, I don't know what the word is. Yeah, a little more outside of like the Disney image, So I don't know, but this is kind of like this is obviously a bigger deal than just like seeing The Simpsons, for example.
Yeah.
On Disney Plus. So I don't know if it'll happen. I would love to see it. He's, and by he I mean Ryan Reynolds, is one of those perfect casting as Deadpool, just like Hugh Jackman was as Wolverine, and what's the guy's name from the State Farm commercials as J. Jonah Jameson. There are just those certain
Simmons, J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, there's just those perfect casting picks, and Ryan Reynolds really does fit that obviously pretty well. So here's to hoping. I would love to see it, but I'm not holding my breath. And it sounds like, according to Lee Field, that I think it's Liefeld. I think I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, according to him, it doesn't seem like it's going to be happening anytime soon, if at all. So, anything else before we move on from there?
Nah.
So the next one, we'll stay in the world of comic book movies. The Batman will be darker than the previous films, says Andy Serkis. I forgot that Andy Serkis was in this movie. Do you remember who he's cast as?
No.
He is.
I didn't know he was in the movie.
He is. He plays Alfred. So he's gonna.
Okay, I did know that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I completely forgot.
I completely forgot.
Right, I did too. I was like, who is he? I was thinking like maybe he might be like a CG character, but no, he's actually Alfred. So again, this is from IGN. This is from Matt Fowler. Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis, who is in the midst of filming his role as Alfred Pennyworth in Matt Reeves' The Batman, when production shut down indefinitely due to the coronavirus, has confirmed the film's overall darker tone. When speaking to Lad Bible, Serkis was asked if fans should expect a, quote, darker, broodier Batman, to which Serkis chuckled and replied, quote, I would say that's not too far from the truth, end quote. Delving into the story a little bit more, Serkis stated that the Batman is very much about the emotional connection between Alfred and Bruce. That's really at the center of it, and it is a really exquisite script that Matt has written. The Batman, now moved to an October 2021 release, is reportedly more of a noir-style direct detective-driven story and an odd throwback to 70s film Clute and Chinatown. So that's pretty much it. It wasn't like a huge story, but it'll be interesting to see. My first thought is, obviously the Nolan trilogy is pretty, I wouldn't say it's dark necessarily. It is very grounded. It is very gritty. I don't know if dark is the right way that I would describe it, but it's interesting to see that this isn't going to be obviously, not that we would expect it, but it's not going to be like a bat nipple campy, Batman story. But what do you guys think?
I'd like to see it as like a rated R movie, have like the same kind of tone as the Joker.
The darker for DC, the darker the better. You see how well that worked out for Joker, and you also see how well it didn't work out when they try to copy the MCU with everything in the Justice League.
Right.
Like, I mean, Aquaman did good, and so did Wonder Woman.
Right.
But that's not, I think when people think of DC, I think the tone is darker And you think of like those early Batman movies, they were like very dark and gritty and very like noir, type movies. So they need to like really distance themselves from like the whole Marvel versus DC by going their own lane, which they started doing with Joker, and that was like $1 billion worldwide movie.
And I think I didn't see it in any official news story, but I think that I was seeing somewhere, so I don't know if this is true or not, but that their new strategy is to basically create standalone movies and not worry about creating like a universe. Because of what you said, because they tried that, they rushed it, and they completely fucked it up. Yeah. And so it just doesn't seem like it's the way that they should go. And obviously Joker, the huge, financial and critical success that it was, I think, probably proved that. So it'll be interesting to see. But what do you think? Obviously Andy Serkis is known for, playing Gollum. He's done what other movie was he in that I was thinking about?
He's been in a couple Marvel movies.
Yeah. Oh, it was the Planet of the Apes movies. He played Caesar.
Planet of the Apes. He played King Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Ren Tintin or Adventures of Tintin or something.
What do you guys think about him playing Alfred? Just what you know about Andy Serkis.
I'd have to see him in character, because off the top of my head, I think Andy Serkis is a little too creepy looking to be playing Alfred.
Yeah, and I don't think I know that they're obviously going for a lot of different vibes with this one, but
he's a little too young.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I always picture Alfred as this like really old dude.
Distinguished.
That's how he's always been played.
Michael Caine.
He's a really old guy.
Caine. Yeah,
he was a great Alfred.
Yeah. He'll probably still be the best Alfred ever.
Yeah. Did you guys see which one was it? Batman vs Superman, or was it Justice League, where it was Jeremy Irons played Alfred?
Did you guys I never saw Justice League, so it probably was Batman versus Superman.
Did you guys do you guys remember liking?
I don't really remember those movies. I think my brain just blocked out all that. Shittiness.
I mean, I honestly don't remember,
because I've seen Justice League, I've seen Batman versus Superman,
right?
Like Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, but I couldn't tell you like a single thing that happens in like those movies.
Honestly, me either.
Except for Save Martha, I remember that. I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so Jeremy Irons was kind of a younger, I would say probably the same age as Andy Serkis, so it'll be interesting to see. I do like the darker tone. I think that really works obviously well. I do like that, we have to remember that, Batman is first and foremost, he is a detective. He doesn't really have any superpowers. It's all about, outsmarting his enemies and the power of observation. So it'll be cool to see a story that's kind of centered around that characteristic of his. Hopefully it does well. I actually watched, I finally sat down and watched, what was it? The King with him and Timothée Chalamet. Was that
about the what was it, like not the maybe the invasion of France or whatever?
Yeah, he plays the King of France, and that was really good. I liked him in that.
Yeah, he was good, and he was really good, and he had a really good French accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I did try to watch. I got through about half of it. I might go back and finish it. Did you guys ever try to watch The Lighthouse with him and Willem Dafoe?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's a very artsy, kind of like indie artsy movie.
That's pretty much all he does.
Yeah, that's what he's been doing ever since Twilight ended. Was smaller types of movies.
I mean, which is probably smart on his part, because I'm sure people see him in the industry now as more of a serious actor than they did.
Oh, definitely. That was a huge. I'm sure that was a very calculated move on his part, not to be typecast as like the
heartthrob.
Heartthrob, young adult, fantasy.
And I bet he just wanted to like exercise and flex his acting chops, because he didn't really like. I assume the script just didn't give him that much range as an actor in Twilight.
I'm sure it wasn't. Right.
I've only seen the first one, but that one was just like he was just like me, sniffing around or.
And then I had one about the Avatar sequels costing a ton of money. I think we'll skip that one. There's really not too much to it. but it's estimated that they'll cost $1 billion to produce, which would by far, in a way, make that the most expensive movie production of all time by like double.
I wonder if they're shooting them at the same time.
But there's supposed to be like 5, right? So it's like $1 billion across 4 sequels, isn't it?
Yeah, actually, let's
like
see
super
here.
a lot.
Yeah, it's like $250 million for 2 through 5.
Maths.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's going to be all the sequels all told will be about $1 billion, equating to about $250 million per movie.
Which isn't like super a lot.
No, I think that's probably right around. That's probably right around Endgame.
Star Wars is around that.
Yeah, Star Wars Endgame. Yeah. At this point, I remember. I mean, I guess we will talk about it.
Because Sean told me about that a couple of days ago. When he first said it, I was like, "Is it going to be $1 billion per movie?" Because I could see something like that happening with James Cameron.
Say that again.
Because Sean told me about that a few days ago. When he first said it, I was thinking, is that going to be $1 billion per movie?
Yeah, could you imagine?
Because I wouldn't be surprised. It really was James Cameron.
No. Now let me ask you this:
150 per movie isn't that bad.
No, it's really not. It does put it up there, but it's not like, I don't even think it would be tops. I think if I remember correctly, I think it's one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I can't remember which one. Maybe on Stranger Tides or At World's End. It's the most expensive movie. It has a budget.
Dead Man's Chest or something.
It's one of them, but it had a production. I think it was right around half a billion. It was right around 500 million. But
actually, it was probably the third one, because the second one did really good in theater, so they probably thought they could jack up the budget.
Right. Did you guys? I don't know if we've ever talked about this. Did you guys like the original Avatar?
Yeah, loved Avatar.
Did you?
But the thing is like, it's not. What I'm wondering is, are those movies going to be as big as Avatar was? Just because
it's been so long. It's been like 15 years.
It has been a long time.
It's been 11.
It's maybe by 15 by the time it actually comes out.
So Avatar 2 is, according to this story, Avatar 2 is still on track to open December 17th of 2021.
Yeah, I heard that last year.
It was supposed to open. It was supposed to open on the same day as Aquaman.
Yeah,
when that came out.
With the others set to release on and basically in December of 2023, 2025, and 2027.
Better hurry. James Cameron might die before he finishes them all.
Yeah.
But are you guys excited for the?
Yeah, I like the first one.
Yeah, I am. I don't know how much the public is hungry for more Avatar. I didn't like. As big as it was, and it's the biggest movie in the world, even more than Titanic when it came out. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really grab hold like a Star Wars, like where they're making toys and it's like in everybody's consciousness. It didn't grab hold like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was in everybody's consciousness. I mean,
not anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, not anymore. But I think
you still got Spider-Man pajamas and stuff selling.
Play the marketing right on the year, 6 months before it comes out. I think they could build up enough hype.
Yeah, and it was also the big bet on putting it in 3D.
I do.
Which really jacked up the ticket prices.
I saw it in 3D. Yeah, I remember that.
And I know James Cameron said he wants to do something new and innovative. Not necessarily 3D, but just something that hasn't been done before. I don't know what that is.
Holograms.
Yeah.
Holograms in the movie.
Just spray your face with water.
Yeah, I was going to say holograms in 4D, where you you have water spraying you in the wind.
It's like a VR movie or something,
And I also think just James Cameron's name just carries enough clout with
He's one of those few.
He has 2 of the 3 highest grossing movies of all time.
Super AAA director, yeah. Everything he touches is gold. I mean, he hasn't made one movie that isn't critically and commercially successful.
Yeah.
Now it does say here, Avatar was the highest grossing movie of all time until Endgame dethroned it. However, the margin between the films is so small that James Cameron has said that he believes Avatar will reclaim the top spot when it is inevitably re-released ahead of Avatar 2. So
Okay. Well, yeah, it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
I didn't know they were planning on doing that.
I didn't either until I read the story, but that's kind of what it like.
But I would say probably in tickets sold, I would say definitely less, just because the ticket price of
Right.
3D.
Really, this one seems to be primarily underwater or takes place around water as the main element.
Now I was wondering if it was gonna like have like the same main characters.
I'm
not sure.
I'll be honest. I don't remember. Remember, it was
yeah, and
was it Sam Worthington?
Was it Zoe?
I don't remember
Zaldana.
Zaldana.
Yeah.
Saldana, or whatever her name is.
Michelle Yeoh has been cast in this new one. Obviously, they're bringing back Stephen Lang, who played kind of the general or whatever it was.
I thought he was killed, wasn't he? Or did he just like retreat? I haven't seen it in forever.
I haven't.
I think he did die.
That's what I thought.
And then James Cameron is also bringing back an alum that he's worked with before, and Kate Winslet. But we don't know what her character is.
I bet she's a scientist. I can almost see it right now.
Yeah, I can see it too. With like the lab coat.
I don't see her being like a big avatar, like Kate Winslet avatar, giant blue lady.
Yeah, she's a scientist. I can see her walking around in a lab coat. All right, so moving on from there. Oh, this is a quick one. A new live action Transformers is set to release in 2022.
Do people still care about Transformers?
I think that still might be a little too soon.
So, I haven't cared about Transformers in a while.
Transformers 4, which was the first one with Mark Wahlberg. Man, those movies.
I didn't see it.
Is Michael Bay slated to direct again? I hope not.
Let me see here.
I think it'll just be a gigantic bust again if he does.
Yeah, I guess somebody else besides Michael Bay on.
It does not say if he is directing or not. They just talk about the writers. But yeah, so the original trilogy had Shia LaBeouf playing Sam Witwicky. Ladies Man 417 or 217 or whatever it was.
I don't remember.
Oh my god. And then the fourth and fifth one had Mark Wahlberg. The fourth one was actually the highest grossing movie.
There's a fifth one?
There are 5.
I did not know that.
The reason that it kind of went on hiatus is because the fifth one bombed compared to the fourth one. The fourth one did over $1 billion at the worldwide box office. The fifth one,
that's probably because people were just like, "Oh, let's see how this turns out," with Mark Wahlberg instead of like Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
and then they saw it, and then they're like, "No, we've had enough of that."
Yeah. So the fourth one was with Mark Wahlberg, and it did over $1 billion. The fifth one had a production budget of like 215 million, but it only made like 600 million at the box office. So they didn't think it was obviously nearly as successful. So that's why it's been on hiatus. I think that one came out in 2015, 2016.
Didn't Bumblebee flop too?
And then Bumblebee came out in 2018. I don't know how that one did. I know it had a much smaller budget.
So I don't think it necessarily flopped. I think it probably made some of its money back, but it wasn't like a runaway success. I know that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Give me the water, please.
But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really say. Joby Harold, who wrote Army of the Dead, and James Vanderbilt, who wrote Zodiac, are currently working on separate scripts in the story universe.
Big things.
So yeah, other than that, it'll be interesting. I went back and watched those movies recently. They're not great, especially the fourth and fifth one. I mean, I like Shia LaBeouf, so I liked those.
I hope they design the actual like Autobots and Decepticons differently, because one of the reasons I didn't like them is I had trouble telling them apart.
Everybody,
I didn't know who like Optimus Prime and Bumblebee were, but like Megatron and like everybody
Well, it
else.
was just
like,
like
the
it was
Decepticons, they
just
all
like
look the same to me. They all look silver and gray, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't tell you guys.
it was
apart.
all what I yes, that was part of it. The other thing that I had an issue with is that when all of the action started happening, it just looked like just metal in a blender. Like
Yeah.
everything was moving
You,
so fast.
you ever see those videos of like those balls of snakes like during mating season?
Yes, yes.
That's what it looks like.
Just with Transformers.
I couldn't even tell like who were the Autobots and like who were the Decepticons when they were
That's what I
fighting.
mean. It was very tough, and so, but anyway, it'll be interesting. I don't know if this is going to be a reboot or if it's going to be a continuation at this point.
They should just reboot it.
Yeah, I'd reboot it and just
and keep Michael Bay away from it.
Yeah,
if possible.
I don't know if he has, because he directed all 5, which is pretty. I think that's pretty rare for one director to, even like long running series like, I don't know, Harry Potter or Star Wars. It's very rare to have one director across the whole thing. I could be making this up, and it's very possible that I'm just pulling this out of my ass, but I thought that he had some type of ownership stake with Hasbro and the Transformers license, which is why he did it, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
I hope not.
Which could be the reason, because he didn't do Bumblebee. So I don't know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he comes back to direct this one.
Because if he does, I won't watch it. That'll,
yeah,
I just won't.
Not a big Michael Bay dude.
I haven't like the last movie of his I liked was like 13 Hours, and then like before that, I can't even tell you.
Right. I think that's it for the news, guys. Unless you have anything before we transition.
No, not really.
No.
You watch Community? I think they're making a Community movie.
I haven't seen it since it was actually on
TV. I'm not a Community guy, but a lot of people like that show.
It was good. I liked it. Joe McHale. Yeah, it was the first couple seasons I remember really enjoying. But it'll be interesting to see if that actually because sometimes those shows are such a time and place type of that it's hard to kind of recapture that magic that made this show great.
Yeah.
I think about I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but Arrested Development with Jason Bateman.
I've seen like the first season.
I really liked that show up until it was canceled for a few years, and then Netflix brought it back for like one final season, and that final season it just wasn't good. It was just like everybody had moved on, and you could tell that it was, I won't say it was a cash grab, but it was just, the magic wasn't there. So it'll be interesting to see if it kind of, works out that way with the you said it's a show or it's a movie?
Honestly, I don't know. I think it's a movie though. I think they're saying it's going to be a movie.
Oh, a movie. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But I think that's it. So what have you guys been watching? What have you guys been doing?
We haven't
watched a whole lot. We watched Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah. Well, let's jump into that, because that's one thing on my list also. What did you guys, no spoiler, we'll try to keep it spoiler free for those that might not have watched it yet, but what did you guys think of it?
I liked it more than 8, less than 7.
It was a good popcorn movie. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of, I mean, this isn't spoiling anything.
I think it was better than Episode 1 and 2. I don't even think it was as good as Revenge of the Sith, though.
Really? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I thought it was better than... I think it's better than all the prequels, definitely. Better than 8. I'd probably put it below 7.
I didn't like Rey's character arc in that movie. I didn't think it was believable what they were doing with her character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, without spoiling anything, I just didn't like what they were trying to go for. It didn't land with me.
One thing that I will say,
it just came like out of nowhere almost.
Yeah. And I think what you were saying before is that I think it was J.J. Abrams trying to just clean up what Rian Johnson had left behind with Episode 8, because Snoke, who we assumed was the big baddie for this new trilogy, was just killed off unceremoniously, and he was like, well, shit, what do I do from there? And it would have been tough to have a believable menacing threat introduced and killed off in the same movie. So they kind of, went back to the well, with that one. It just makes me wonder what a J.J. Abrams 7, 8, and 9 trilogy would have looked like if he
would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think it would have been a lot.
You know what I mean?
That was great.
Yeah, I really liked episode 7 a lot. It was a good starting point.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like after episode 7, I don't like what they did with Finn's character either. I thought he was just kind of like around, not doing much. I thought he was gonna have like a bigger arc. You know, I don't.
Actually,
I like the movie for the popcorn more so than the characters.
I'm gonna spoil one thing. So if you guys don't want any spoilers at all, scrub it forward a little bit. But what did you guys? So do you remember when Finn said to Rey, "Hey, I need to tell you something"?
Yeah.
They never explained it. What did you guys think that he was gonna say to her?
He's probably going to confess his love for her.
Yeah, I thought it had something to do that he had feelings for or something. But who knows?
That was my first thought. What I interpreted it as was that he was force sensitive.
Maybe
because I thought
he was force sensitive.
Okay, I don't know if that was set up before, but he kept saying to everyone, "I have a feeling. I have a feeling." And he was like, "Oh, he was going to tell her." Yeah, that he was force sensitive. So I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because I assumed they had the red herring in episode 7. I think it was episode 7 in the fight in the snow where it looks like he might. It was like him and Kylo, and he like.
That's honestly where I thought they were going to take Finn's character arc. It was like have him be trained in the way of the Jedi, also,
right?
But they never did that.
Yeah. So it was good. I liked it. It was a lot of fan service, especially at the very end. Chewie got his medal that he never got in episode 4.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was just a lot of stuff like that, which I mean.
I like Kylo Ren's character arc.
I'd say Kylo had the best arc over the trilogy.
I will say this. I think that in all 9 movies, he probably is the best villain. In terms of just his character arc, his
better than Darth Vader.
He might be. I think he's a more nuanced character. I think that he's.
But I don't think that makes him a better villain.
Well, okay, maybe not a better villain. Like he's not more evil, but I think he's just in the same way that better might not be the right word, but like almost in the same way as. Like the way we really liked Thanos because he had believable motivations and you know what I mean? Like I think that he had those gray areas where he was clearly struggling. In all 3 movies, he was clearly struggling with like the light and the dark. And he was always getting pulled and pushed back and forth. I just thought it made maybe he's not a better villain, but he had the most interesting arc out of any of the villains in the movies, I think. So.
Yeah, I think Anakin / Darth Vader's would have been better if it just wasn't for Christian Haydenson's acting in the prequel.
Yeah, I went back and watched the prequel. I mean,
the acting sucks in those, but that writing is not much better.
No, the writing's a trip. I really blame the writers and George Lucas on those. I think that. I'm not saying Hayden Christensen would have ever won an Oscar for acting in any shape, way, or form. But you have to remember, like, there were so many like really good actors in those prequels. You had,
Liam Neeson, Ewan McGregor. He did a lot with the script.
Yeah,
he was. I thought he was great.
He was the best one. Like even like Samuel Jackson was like stiff and
boring. Samuel L. Jackson was boring. When have you ever had a chance to say that? And so
you should have yelled more. But I don't think that's a Jedi. But it'd be cool, like juxtaposition.
There is I don't know if this is true, but I read it on like I think it was IMDb or something. I was reading like facts on episode 1, or maybe it was episode 2. I don't know. One of the prequels, where he has his prop lightsaber from the movies in his house. And on the hilt.
Oh yeah, I read something like that. He took it.
He took it and then he inscribed it with "This is my lightsaber, motherfucker." It's in his
Yeah.
head.
That sounds like him. All right.
But yeah, so that kind of takes me into another thing that I watched, which was the Empire Dreams. Did you guys see that on Disney Plus? The Star Wars, the original Star Wars documentary about like George Lucas and his.
I'll have to check that out.
It was really good. I liked it. It's about 2.5 hours, but it's very interesting. It kind of goes, THX 1138, which is like his student film that kind of put him on the map with his professors at USC, and then his first commercial hits, which was American Graffiti, and kind of put him on the map as a bona fide director, which helped him get the funding for Star Wars, which was always.
Did you guys know that he directed the montage sequence in the first Godfather?
I did not know that. But him and Francis
killings and stuff, like after, if anybody hasn't seen The Godfather, spoiler alert, after Al Pacino kills the cop and what's his name, and he goes away to Italy, and then they have like the newspapers, just like a montage of like newspaper cover stories of like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he directed that.
Him and
as a favor to Francis Ford Coppola.
Him and Francis Ford Coppola actually went to school together. They were very good friends growing up, and I think that they're not anymore.
That's why he did it. It's like a favor to him to help him out.
And so and obviously Spielberg, they were all in that group of like new, coming out of the golden age of Hollywood, in the 50s and 60s. They were kind of like the new school at that point, new school like directors. But yeah, it was really good. It talks about, getting it off the ground and how, episode 4 almost killed him. Because he was directing and producing, and he created ILM, and he created Pixar, and he created, all of these things that we take, for granted now. But all of these things were, obviously at the time, very revolutionary. So if you have any interest in Star Wars and things like that, and kind of like the inception of it, it's definitely worth a look. It was made in 2004, 2005, so it's a little old now, but it was still, I think it was produced in between episodes 2 and 3, so they kind of go over the prequels a little bit at the very end, but it's like mainly focused on the original trilogy. It's funny because one of the they do interviews with like Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, and everybody's saying like, oh yeah, I'm so excited to be part of something so special, and to have this experience. Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill are saying all that, and then they cut to Harrison Ford, and he was like, and if I knew if I played this right, that this movie would make me a big star. And so it was just funny.
He's definitely the most successful out of all three of them.
Yeah. But man, it's really good. I like I said, if anybody likes Star Wars, they haven't seen it.
Harrison Ford wasn't even supposed to play Han Solo.
Do you know who
they hired him because he was playing Han Solo during the screen testings, and after they saw him and Mark Hamill together, when Mark Hamill was in auditioning.
Do you know who was supposed to be the original Han Solo? They have this in the documentary. It's supposed to be Val Kilmer. I
don't see it working out. I'm sure that's probably why they went with it.
It's supposed to be Val Kilmer. And
I just imagine Han Solo being like Doc Holliday,
right? Yeah. But man, it was super cool. Like it was stories that I had heard here and there, but just to see it all put together in a really well done documentary. I really enjoyed it. I think it's definitely worth a watch. But anything else? What else have you guys been watching?
Nothing really. That's pretty much it.
Still watching Kingdom.
Yeah, we watched an episode of Kingdom.
The zombie Korean zombie feudal Korea.
Yeah.
Is there 2 seasons right now?
Yeah.
I need to check that out. I want to check that out. Go ahead.
It's good. It's really good. It's just we were watching it when Last Kingdom season 4 premiered, so we stopped watching it to watch that, and then we were playing Modern Warfare a lot, and then
Right.
Got that first Warzone dub.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Finally. Yeah.
Do they have
We got
they have duos
Damascus
now?
also. That's the majority of what we were doing. Is we finally got Damascus.
Have you guys now? Do they have duos in Warzone?
Not yet. It's supposed to be coming sometime this season, supposedly.
Yeah, that's what
They
I keep
said there was
hearing.
a bunch of there's still some bugs or something with it, so they're trying to work it out.
And then we started Rick and Morty because season
4.
what is it? Season 4 is out. Yeah, and
Part 2 is season 4, right?
yeah, part 2, season 4 that started a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I
So,
think
yeah,
I think I'm
Morty-
about to start it. I added it to my queue, which is as far as I've ever gotten in watching
You
it.
need to watch it. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh,
It's
one more
not a
story.
kids
Sorry,
show, so don't let the kids watch.
Yeah, it's like Family Guy,
But worse.
but funnier and worse.
You guys probably already saw this. I saw it this morning. Dave has officially been renewed for season 2.
Yay!
I didn't see that, but I'm excited because it was amazing, and I love the way they ended season 1.
Mm-hmm. It is scheduled for next year. I don't know when, but
I kind of figured they would though, because I mean it's such a commercial and critical success.
well, I think they were waiting. From what I understood, they were waiting for the ratings to come in, and it is officially their highest rated comedy ever. FX, so it only made sense. I think it was probably got renewed either way, but it beat out Atlanta as the top rated comedy. But yeah, it is official that it is
I didn't
coming
even know
back
Atlanta
next
was
year.
comedy.
I'm interested to see if they can capture lightning in a bottle twice, because you have to imagine that the expectations are so high. I think it'll be good no matter what. I'm in 100%. But
I don't know. I trust Lil Dicky. He's
a funny dude.
He's like super creative.
Yeah.
Just like his character.
Yeah, he has like a show that's great. He has like giant hits in music, and they're all funny. Like all of his, most of it. He has some serious tracks, but
right. But yeah, so I forgot to throw that in there. But yeah, that's official. It is coming back for season 2.
Cool.
The only other thing that I've been watching, though, to kind of, I think, wrap it up, is I started watching The Morning Show on Apple TV, or Apple Plus.
That's with Reese Witherspoon and
Jennifer Aniston, Steve
Carell,
Carell, yeah.
Jennifer
We just watched the first episode last night, so I don't have much more to say than I like where it's going. For those that might not know what it's about, it's basically at least in the first episode, it's basically a mirror storyline of what happened on the Today Show. Matt Lauer, and he turned out to be like a giant creep, sexual predator. So that's the character Steve Carell plays. He's like a disgraced, and within the first 10 minutes of the episode, he's fired from the show because it turned out that he was sleeping with a couple of the interns, or like, I don't know, producers or something behind the scenes. And because of the Me Too movement, they deem him a sexual predator, even though he claims it was consensual and there was nothing predatory about it, etc., etc. I don't know, other than that, where the story's gonna go or what it's about, but Reese Witherspoon plays a like small town local reporter who has a video that goes viral, and it seems like she's gonna be set up to take over the co-host through a series of fortunate events. She'll take over the co-host chair right alongside Jennifer Aniston, but there seems to be some like cat fighting between the two women. Seems like, that type of thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see kind of how it plays out, but the first episode was good.
I like Reese Witherspoon. She's a really good actress.
So, and she does it very well here. Jennifer Aniston, for the most part, she does it really well. She can't cry on screen. I've noticed that. There's one scene where she's like sobbing, and it's like bad. Like it's just not good. But Steve Carell, it's interesting to see him in a serious role. He doesn't really crack any jokes, obviously. So,
I mean, he's a good serious actor. Like the one movie where he plays that like really weird wrestling coach team.
Foxtrot team.
Yeah, something Fox team.
Or Team
something.
Fox or Foxtrot. Yeah, maybe not Foxtrot.
Yeah, he was really good in that.
Yeah.
Foxcatcher. It was Foxcatcher.
Yeah. But yeah, he was really good in that.
Mm-hmm. So it is interesting to see him play in a more serious role, but it wasn't bad. I liked it. It'll be you know.
It's like comedy actors always are great dramatic actors. That's what they say.
Yeah.
They say if you can do comedy, you can do anything.
Look at Adam Sandler. You guys got to watch Uncut Gems if you haven't already.
Well, it's coming to Netflix this month.
Oh, is it? I'll watch it.
Yeah,
again.
so I'm definitely gonna be checking it out.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
It is
yeah.
one of those movies where you will not breathe for 2 hours. You are
Yeah,
just
I heard
on the
it's
edge of your
super
seat. It
duper
is
good.
so fucking tense the whole way through. But yeah, we'll definitely get together and talk about that one. All right, guys. That's all that I've been watching. Is there anything else that you guys want to throw in?
Nah, I think we pretty much covered it.
All right. Well, that is it then, everyone, for this week's episode. Holy crap, it got dark.
Yeah, turn on the light.
For this week's episode of the Save Point Podcast. Like I said at the top of the show, if this is your first time to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave us any suggestions on what to watch. What have you been watching? We always are in the market for a new show to binge. Check us out. If you can't watch us, check us out on all the major podcast services. All you need to do there is search the Save Point Podcast. Give us a 5-star review. If you're going to give us anything less than that, just don't do it. 5 stars or bust. And I think that's everything. Next show will be, we'll kind of revert back to our video game focused topic. What I want to do actually, guys, while I got you here, is I think the next one we're going to have one specific focus. It's going to be, I wanted to do one, we should have done one for the Xbox event, but I want to do one for just our predictions for what to expect for the PS5, the rumored PS5 reveal event. You know, just any predictions that you might have, whether it's about games, the console itself, the price, if they're going to announce a release date or anything like that. So maybe we'll do 3 or 5 predictions each and kind of just go like a roundtable discussion. But that'll be for next time. So we will get the details of that together behind the scenes. I think that's everything. So yeah, until next time, you guys stay safe.